What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to show you guys how to change your engine oil on your car. I always change my oil every 3 months or every 5,000 miles so that I know that my oil is in good shape. Now if you guys don't want to change it so often, you guys can go with a higher grade oil that requires for you to change it maybe once a year or 15,000 miles. When I change my oil, I always like to use a bottle of motor flush. This is going to allow you guys to flush out the old oil out of your engine efficiently. You don't always have to buy this motor flush, but if your oil is very dark and very nasty and dirty, you guys might consider it. It goes a long way, and I've always used it in my engines and I haven't had any issues with it. Taking a close look at the back of the bottle right here, we can see that it gives us directions. It says to idle engine at normal speed for 5 minutes. Do not drive vehicle. So we're gonna go ahead and do this, and this is a great way to get out all the old oil out of your engine. You're not always going to remove everything, but this is a great way to do it. These are some of the basic equipment that you guys are going to use when you guys change your oil. I have a set of ramps, and I also have a jack and jack stands. Depending on which one you guys have, you guys can use either one you guys choose. I also have a set of ratchets and a socket set that we're going to use. And also, it's a good idea to have a big oil catch can and a funnel to fill the oil. So today I'm going to be changing the oil on the 3 cars that I have. I'm going to use my Infiniti G20, my Nissan Altima, and my Kia Sorento. Hopefully by showing you the differences between the different cars, it'll give you guys a better understanding of what you guys need to do when you guys change your oil. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get our first vehicle ready. We're going to start with the Infiniti G20. Remember to engage your e-brake when you guys are doing this type of work in your car. Now let's go ahead and pop our hood. We're going to go ahead and put the whole bottle in. And we're going to go ahead and run the engine for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes have passed by, let's go ahead and get underneath the car. So go ahead and get your oil pan ready and get your ratchet ready so that we can get underneath. Now that we're underneath the car, let's go ahead and locate our oil pan and drain plug. In our case, we have our oil pan right here, and this is our oil drain plug. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen up this fastener right here. Usually it's either a 14 or 17 millimeter fastener that you need to remove. So in my case, this is going to be a 14 millimeter fastener, so go ahead and remove it. When you guys are removing this, a trick that I like to do is to loosen it up slowly. And what you guys are going to want to do is press on the fastener going forward like this, and then you're just going to go ahead and loosen it up nice and slow. Make sure that you guys have your pan ready. But you're pretty much forcing the bolt back in as you're spinning until you get to the tip of the thread. You're going to pull it out fast. This is going to allow it so that your drain plug doesn't fall in the oil. So we're going to let the oil drain for a little bit. Once it completely stops, we're going to go ahead and put the drain plug back in. For the most part, if your drain plug is in good shape, you don't need to replace this washer. But if it's leaking for some reason, you're going to need to replace the washer or either the fastener right here for the oil pan. Once your oil has stopped draining, go ahead and put your fastener back in. We're going to hand tighten it all the way down. Once we have hand tightened it, we're going to go ahead and give it a 1/4 of a turn. You don't want to over torque these, because if you do, you're going to end up stripping the pan and you're going to have to replace the pan or get the threads fixed on the pan. So we have it pretty much fastened down all the way. Now that we can't move it with our hand, we're going to go ahead and just give it a 1/4 of a turn. Just like that. That's all the torque that you really want to put on here, because like I said, you're going to end up stripping it if you tighten it anymore. Now that we have fastened down the drain plug, let's go ahead and locate our oil filter. For the most part, it should be near the oil pan. So in my particular car, in my Infiniti, it's right above it. As you guys can see, it's right there underneath, or actually above that hose right here for the power steering. So let's go ahead and remove that. For the most part, if you guys don't over tighten these oil filters, they should come off by hand. But if for some reason they're over tightened down, you guys can use a oil filter removal tool or something to remove that. Don't remove the filter all the way. Just crack it open like that and let the fluid drain out. Once it has completely stopped draining, go ahead and remove the filter completely. When we go underneath the Nissan, it's a little bit different compared to the Infiniti. Taking a closer look at our Nissan Altima, we can see that we have the oil pan right underneath right here, and we also have the drain plug in the same location as the Infiniti. The only difference between the Nissan and the Infiniti is that the oil filter is mounted sideways, but it's pretty much the same thing that we're doing. Now looking at the Kia, we're gonna go underneath it and see the differences as far as the oil change goes. Right off the bat, we can see that on the Kia, we're not able to look at the oil pan because it's covered by this splash shield right here. So we're gonna have to remove this front splash shield and the lower back splash shield in order to get to our filter and our drain plug. To remove this bracket out of the way, all you need to do is remove those fasteners. We have one right here and then one on the opposite section over here. And then to remove this metal one right here, there are 4 fasteners. There's one right here, one over there, one in the lower back, and one back there. So we need to remove all those fasteners and then drop these covers down so that we can get access to our oil pan and our oil filter. With the shields out of the way, we have access to our oil pan, which is right here. And then we also have access to our oil filter, which is right there. So pretty much all cars are the same. I mean, they're all gonna have their differences, but they all have a drain plug and they all should have a filter to remove. Now that we have our oil filter out, let's go ahead and install the new one. A pro tip for you guys, if you guys have a magnet laying around, what I like to do is place it on the oil filter like this. So basically when you put a magnet on your filter, that's gonna attract more metal shavings onto the filter right here, and it's gonna trap them here so that they're not floating around in the engine. Before we put our new filter on, what we're gonna do is fill it up with some fresh fluid. As you guys can see, it gets filled up with oil, and that's what we want, so that when the engine turns on, it doesn't run dry. Now let's install the oil filter back onto the car. When installing the filter back on, go ahead and just hand tighten it down. Next, let's install the fresh fluid into the car. Now that our engine has new oil, let's go ahead and turn it on, and we're gonna go ahead and check to see if we have any leaks underneath the car. Now that we're underneath the car, let's check to see if we're leaking any oil. In my case, it looks like everything is good. Let's go ahead and lower down the car. Next, go ahead and park your car on a flat surface and check to see if your oil level is at the correct spot. Go ahead and remove your dipstick, wipe it off. Go ahead and insert it back in. Pull it out and go ahead and read your readings. In my car, I'm in between the low and the full mark, which is what you want. You don't want to overfill your oil. Now that we have changed the oil on all of the cars, I hope you guys can see that there's not a lot of differences as far as getting an oil change done. And hopefully by watching this video, it can encourage you guys to change your own oil next time that it needs an oil change. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Please like, comment, and subscribe.